Hey there everyone, PhilChill here and welcome to my channel. Stardew Valley has a huge list of buildings, machines or items that have their own uses, but there are some which only take up space on the farm where you could use something else instead. Today I wanted to discuss about some of the more useless or not well used things on the farm. But before we begin with the video, if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss out any of my future updates. I usually cover Stardew Valley and some similar games with occasional streams here and there. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Stardew Valley has a range of many useful and important buildings like the barn, the coop, the shed and more. But between them, we have a few which can't reach that level of usefulness, where a lot of players would build them on their farms. One such building is the mill. You would think that the mill has a great use, and it does. But compared to just going and building it at Robin's house, then milling everything for rice or flour, which can take up a huge chunk of your time, you could just buy everything from Pierre's shop. The look of the mill is quite nice and can make the farm look much better. But for processing at the start, the first few batches that you mill would make you feel really good, like your character is self-sufficient. But after a while that feeling will wane, and for the most part you'll go to Pierre's shop and just get your materials from him without the extra hustle. The mill is a nice building that even I build it on my farms always near the water for the extra look, but other than that, I rarely even use it. Another building like this is the slime hutch. That building just really takes a huge chunk of your farm, which you could have used for something else. The inability to paint it makes it stick out on the farm like a sore thumb, so a lot of people, including me, just build it once to trigger the cutscene to be able to produce and incubate slime eggs, and after which we just tear down the building and just have our own slimes in a corner of the farm behind some fences, making them much more better like that. I think that being able to edit that building as we can the rest of the buildings on the farm would be really awesome, so we could make the best looking farm out there. But overall, the size of the building is also a huge drawback, since there are many more profitable ways of earning money where that land could have been used much more better. So that's why I think the slime hutch is quite useless to have on the farm. The next building we have is not one that you built, but one that's already found in the world of Stardew Valley. And that is the spa. I think a lot of people use it, but for me I haven't visited it since I first found out about it. I went there to explore it a bit once, and after that I haven't been there since. You restore your energy and health while staying in the spa, but that can be replaced with eating some food while on the move, and you won't have to waste time going there and waiting for it to replenish. So for the most part, I haven't visited a spa for its intended purpose, which is restoring energy, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this one. What do you think about the spa? Do you think it could be improved somehow, where its use would be more beneficial to the players? If so, let me know down below. Going back to Robin's shop in hunt for some more useless buildings that could be built on the farm, we come across the well. I think the well looks nice as an aesthetic for any farm, but to have it as a water source it can be quite wasteful. Even on the standard farm, we have two lakes where we can draw water from, but in the upper left corner we don't have any water sources, so many may build it there. The thing is, that area won't be usable to most of the players until towards the mid-game, since you would lack the energy to take care of a huge farm. And the sprinklers would be the best option in the mid-game for the whole farm. So having a well will just be taking up the space there. And even if you're still at the start of the game, you won't have such a big farm towards there, so that area would remain unused until you progressed a bit into the game. So building a well with the intention of having a place to fill up your watering can is something that I think is just a waste of space. Another big useless thing in Stardew Valley, which is not a building, is the Mayor Lewis. I think that the town would do much more better in the hands of someone like Krobus, but it's too bad they hate the poor guy. We can see the town is in full disrepair, where the community center is destroyed, walkways are damaged, the only transport in and out of the valley broken, and all of the taxes of the town mysteriously vanishing into thin air. Maybe the Junimos liked all that sparkly gold. It's too bad that for this we can't replace the mayor with someone more caring and thoughtful of everyone, like Krobus, or the Head Mouse even. I would vote for him at least. But one thing is for sure, I wouldn't add Abigail for that spot, since she would steal all of the gems in the town for snacks, and that would be an even greater waste. There is also one more building which starts out useful at the beginning, but after you complete it fully, ends up being quite useless without any purpose whatsoever, and that is the community center. Completing the community center is the first main goal we have in the game, but at the end of the day, it just becomes an empty building where you can put some items only without anything else to do inside. Unlike the movie theater we get, which has so many uses and makes the game much more fun. I think for the most part it's the amount of work we put in to repair the decrepit community center only to be left with a trophy and an empty building. Maybe we'll see something new about that one as well. I once did a video on the community center and some of its possible uses that could have been implemented in the game, and I will leave a link for it down below so you can check it out, and maybe add some of your ideas as well. At the start of the game, your energy would be really important, and you would pay attention how you use it all the time, while keeping an eye out on any forageable items or seeds to make survival bars which can help you out at the start. One of the things that start out useful are the spring onions, which are a really nice boost only to the energy and nothing else. But there's a useless part to them as well. The most useless thing about this forageable item is the wallet buff you get from Vincent and Jazz after you earn 8 hearts with both of them, which can happen towards the late game. This increases the price of the spring onions times 5, and I think this wallet buff is one of the most useless ones out there. Since the price increase is so small, I would hardly think anyone would go pick them up with the intent of making money, when they would probably have huge farms with tons of crops and animals at this point in time. But everyone, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting. I know that everything in Stardew Valley has a certain use, and a lot of players may actually use these buildings or items in their playthroughs. Well, everything beside the Mayor Lewis one, that stays, like there's no exception to that. But overall, that's the beauty of the game, where you play the game the way you want to. I just wanted to talk a bit about this since they don't have much of a use in the game, and would love to hear your thoughts about those as well. Also, if you're new to my channel, feel free to check out any of my other videos, and if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, since it helps me out a lot. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all in my next one. But till then, stay safe.